Have you been trying too hard to make things happen? It's time to step into the flow of your feminine energy. Hi, my name is Megan Mermaid, and I teach feminine energy with the magic of the mermaids of Sirius. And on this channel, you'll receive spiritual wisdom, mermaid magic, and so many practical tips and tools for how to access and unlock your feminine energy. If you like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe so that you can be notified every time I go live. And so as many people as possible have the opportunity to sparkle and shine with the magic of mermaid consciousness. So today I'm going to be talking all about how to flow in your feminine energy. And I'm going to share 5 simple tips for how to unlock this power that is already within you. So instead of forcing, you can allow, you can receive, and you can glide through life with ease. It really is possible. So let's start out by defining what is feminine energy. Feminine energy and masculine energy are 2 polarities that we have within us. So regardless of what gender you are, regardless of what energy you identify with, we all have this polarity within us. And we're going to have more of one of these energies primarily within us. So masculine energy is all about structure. It's creating all of the boundaries within our life. It has to do with logic. It has to do with intelligence. It has to do with form and getting things done. And once we create that structure in our life, it allows the space for our feminine energy to flow. Now, feminine energy is all about intuition. It's all about receptivity. It has no agenda. It's not linear. It's all about flow and ease and allowing. And it's sort of like the qualities of water. That's a really great way to think about feminine energy, is the flow and the consistency of water. When we're not in our feminine energy, what happens is that we sort of try to take control and micromanage the universe. And what happens is you'll start to feel drained. You'll start to feel more tired. You'll start to feel like life is a struggle. And that is not what you were created for. You were created to thrive and to move through life with ease. When we work in our feminine energy, things naturally come to us rather than having to chase or force or manipulate. All of that energy that we would have been putting on our external goes into our self-care, our confidence, our worthiness, and we start to radiate out this light that draws things to us. So this all sounds great, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we get into our feminine energy? Well, the first step is generosity. And the reason for that is because the universe is all about giving and receiving. It's this natural flow. Whatever we give, we'll always receive. We can think of the universe as a mirror. So whatever you're putting out, you will be getting back. And whenever you feel a block or resistance, you can always go back in and think, okay, where am I not giving? For example, money. That's a big one, right? A lot of times people get stuck because of our limiting beliefs around money. And so you might feel like you don't have enough to give. But I want you to think about generosity in a broader perspective, in a broader concept, where whatever you have, you can give away and you'll become more blessed. That's actually how it works. Did you know it's a limiting belief that the more that you give, the less you have? It's the opposite in the universe. The more you give, the more you receive. The more blessings you put out there, the more blessings you get. The more miracles you make for others through the resources that you have, or your loving smile, or the way that you can offer service to someone that needs it, using your natural gifts, talents, and abilities. All of this is generosity, and you will be abundantly blessed for it. So I want you to take a moment and think about any area in your life that feels stagnant. What's coming to mind? Do you feel like there's not enough time? Do you feel like there's not enough money? Do you feel like there's just something that's lacking? Start to get curious and figure out, okay, what can I give more of? Donations are a great way to do this. And I'm going to be talking more about it in step 2. When we donate, when we give, we create more space to receive blessings. So, what can you do today to start this process of generosity? What you'll notice is that once you have the intention to create more generosity in your life, you will notice that situations or people or experiences start to come in that give you that opportunity. So if there's somebody that's asking for $1 on the street corner, or you're at a store and they're like, would you like to donate to such and such? Would you like to round up your dollar for this organization? Yes, do it. These are all opportunities. I remember one time I was called to be generous by paying it forward to somebody in back of me at a coffee shop that I was going to, that I was driving through to get my latte. And I was very low on funds at that time. And there was a lot of stress and worry and pressure about where the money would come from and how it would happen. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to try this generosity thing today and see how it goes. So I say to the barista, I will pay for the person's order behind me. And their order was like $27. And I had about $60 in my bank account that day. But you know what? I trusted and I did it anyway. And later that day, abundance came in. $200 literally materialized and nearly quadrupled the amount of money that I had given out of that trust in the flow and generosity of the universe. So whatever you want, give away, and you become more blessed each day. Step 2 is all about clearing space. So when we think about feminine energy, it's all about flow. And when there is limitations or contractions, that energy can't flow clearly. So think about if you buy this beautiful new dress, right? I have this new dress on today. What if your closet was so full that that dress wouldn't fit? And if you try to squeeze that dress in, it's going to get all wrinkled, right? So what you have to do is recognize that your energy field, everything in your life, has this boundary. It has this container. So just as you wouldn't want to stuff your closet full of things where you'd never actually be able to see what you have, you've got to clear space. You've got to make room for that feminine energy to come into your life. So think about it today. Where is there clutter in your life? It could be physical clutter, it could be emotional clutter. It could just be that you need to go out and just clear some things that don't make you feel good or make you feel beautiful. Ask yourself why you're holding on to the things that you're holding on to, especially if something has a memory of the past that doesn't feel good. Let it go, donate it, make room. This is where more trust and faith comes in, that when we let go of what's no longer working for us, what we no longer need, we make the space for the new. Step 3 is all about setting boundaries with warmth. When we're in our feminine energy, it doesn't mean that we're doormats. And I want you to see the difference between being nice and being warm. Sometimes this idea of being nice can get us into trouble because oftentimes there's this entanglement of people pleasing or codependency where we want people to see us a certain way. We want to be nice girls, right? I mean, think about when you were growing up and you were having a tantrum. I have a 2-year-old, so I know how this works sometimes. And your parents or other authority figures could have been like, well, that's not nice, right? You're not being nice. You're not being nice. You need to apologize. And when we sort of start to adopt these ideas and belief systems, it takes us out of our authentic truth. And we start doing things because we want to be perceived in a certain way, or we want to control or manipulate situations. But when we're deep and embodied in our feminine energy inside our body, we get to have really strong boundaries. And I'm going to talk in later videos about this dark feminine aspect. So if you're interested, keep checking back on my channel for more about this topic. So how do you create a boundary with warmth? You can always start with feeling statements. Let's say that an ex returns into the picture and you've tried many times to make it work for this person. You've given them many chances, and every single time, what happens? They let you down. And now they're coming back because you've got this glow up, right? And they're interested in your energy. They're interested in getting a little piece of that glow, a little piece of that radiance. You can be warm and say, oh, it feels so nice to hear from you. I hope that you're doing well. And say they want to see you that day. And you can just say, oh, it feels so nice to hear from you. That won't work for me. Or I feel really flattered that you thought of me. I'm not available. So you start with the feel statement, and then you set that boundary with warmth. And you recognize that when you value yourself, you're going to attract people that value you. So that brings us to the next step. If it's not happening, don't force it. When you start to trust in the divine plan of spirit, when you step into the flow, you will discover that everything is happening in this cosmic dance of divine timing and divine will. If something is in your energy field, if it's happening, it's because it's supposed to happen. And I get it. As humans, we can be very, very impatient. We want things now, right? So I want you to think about the analogy of a fun-sized candy bar or a king-size candy bar. When we really want to try to force and fix and manipulate, we're asking for that instant gratification. And it's kind of like we're getting the fun-sized little mini candy bar. It's a lot of effort for very little results. And oftentimes we're going to end up disappointed, and we're going to be working against the flow. So we're going to be exerting a lot of energy and feeling more drained. And if we choose to allow and be patient, get to that king size candy bar where we're like, oh my gosh, wow, it just happened naturally. It just fell into my lap. And that's really what happens when we start allowing ourselves to be generous and clearing the space and setting those boundaries. We open that magnetism, that natural attraction field within us to receive. So you can even practice throughout the day by opening your shoulders, opening your heart space, and being ready to receive. And then it goes back to that trust of if it's not happening, it's not supposed to happen. When you start to get anxious or restless and you're like focusing on trying to find a solution to a problem, for example, that's your opportunity to go within, to nourish yourself, to practice self-care. In mermaid consciousness, you will learn that you are a fractal of the goddess. As a keeper of the feminine flame, you are holding an aspect of femininity, of feminine magic that will never, ever be replicated. So when you start to honor yourself as that goddess in form, then you'll start to carry yourself differently. And that's when the real magic happens. The final step for how to flow into your feminine energy is to slow down and relax into beauty. So masculine energy is all about doing, right? You got to produce, you got to get things done. And we have been really programmed in our society to operate in our masculine energy. And it's important to do that. We need our masculine energy to get things done and to accomplish tasks. But when we slow down, when we become embodied, when we allow our heart to lead those actions, we can work smarter rather than harder. And when we slow down, we step into the magic of the eternal now moment. And nature is a great way to do that. So if you're feeling restless, if you're feeling anxious, you have all these things to do and you don't know where to start, you don't know how you're going to get it all done, take a moment, pause, breathe, start to notice all of the beauty that's around you. Notice the trees. Notice how everything in nature is beautiful. It's still. When you slow down and you step into your body in the present moment, all of a sudden, just like magic, you'll know what is the next action step. And that action step will be taken from a place of relaxation. So it will offer you much better results than if you were trying to extend all of this effort and energy and restless anxiety into getting this done and then this done and hurrying through every task, taking yourself out of the present moment. In mermaid consciousness, we serve through beauty. And beauty is so much more than our outward appearance. That is just a reflection of the radiance that happens when we recognize that everything is within us. And so mermaid magic is all about taking all of the pain, all of the agony of suffering that we've experienced as a human collective and turning it into beauty. Peacocks are a great example of this, as well as the lotus flower. Did you know that peacocks get their beautiful feathers from swallowing thorns? So they literally have to digest this very complicated, uncomfortable substance, and it creates the most exquisite, stunningly show-stopping beauty. And think about the lotus flower, this gorgeous flower, this petal that unfolds with so much beauty. It grows out of the mud. So when we think about our purpose as keepers of the feminine flame, and when we start to embody mermaid consciousness, we step into our feminine energy through the service of beauty. We treat ourselves as the goddess in form. We nourish ourselves. Our personal hygiene becomes a personal ritual, an act of worship to the divinity within us. We can start to look around and see, how can we create beauty in this moment? Maybe you can bring flowers into your environment. Maybe you can have beautiful fragrances and smells. Maybe it's about going out in nature and just recognizing all the beauty around you. When you start to attune your consciousness to beauty, you will see beauty everywhere, and everything that creates suffering is more mud for your lotus. So I hope that these simple steps can get you started on your way for stepping into your feminine flow. And if you're interested in learning more, feel free to check out my website at meganmermaid.com. I offer personal sessions as well as pre-recorded audio readings and so many masterclasses and activations that will get you on your way for being in this magical feminine freedom and energy that is your birthright. You were never designed to struggle. You were designed to sparkle and shine like the beautiful, magical being that you are. So I wish you all the best in your journey of feminine energy, and I will see you next time for more tips.